into the herringbone half double crochet stitch. What you need is a 5.5mm crochet hook and some worsted weight yarn. Once you have all of these materials, let's head over to the table and get started. See you soon! Okay, so let's take a closer look at the regular herringbone half double crochet stitch. And if you look here, you can see that it is a pretty dense stitch, and it's got a pretty texture that is very popular for borders and for blankets and for different garments in general. So let's go ahead and grab our hook and our yarn and see how we do this stitch. In order to begin the herringbone half double crochet stitch, you want to grab your yarn and create a slip knot. Once you've done that, just take your hook, insert it through your slip knot, and carefully tighten it so that it can slide comfortably back and forth on your hook. And I am using a 5.5mm crochet hook. To start, just yarn over and chain any sort of number. And it doesn't have to be a specific number or even or odd. Just remember that you need to chain 2 once you've got a certain number of chains that you want to do. For this little sample, I am just going to chain 15. And that will also include my chain 2. Once you have 15 chains, you want to skip the first 2 chains. So this one here and the second one. And you want to take your hook, yarn over, and insert it into that third chain right here. So just yarn over and carefully insert your hook through that chain and draw a loop. Now instead of yarning over and pulling through like we would for a regular half double crochet, we are just going to leave that yarn over, grab this third loop right here, and pull through the second loop. You should still have 2 loops on your hook. Once you've done that, just yarn over and go through the last 2 loops. And as you can see, it forms that little bump that you see in the herringbone half double crochet stitch. So we are just going to continue that all the way down the first row. So just yarn over, go through that next chain, and pull up the loop. We are just going to take our hook, grab that third chain, pull through the second one, and then yarn over, and go through both of those loops. I'm going to do that one more time. So yarn over, go through that next one, carefully pull up a loop, go through that second loop. You should still have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, and go through those next 2 loops. So go ahead and complete this row. Just remember that you are not yarning over and pulling through all 3 of those loops like you would for a regular half double crochet, and just pull through like that for the last 2 loops. So I'll meet you at the end of row 1, and then we continue on for row 2. Alrighty, so the end of your first row should look something like this, and as you can see, I did change halfway through my herringbone half double crochets to show you the difference, and just because I was running out of yarn. So, to continue on to the second round, we want to take our hook and our yarn over, and chain 2. We are just going to flip the work, and because we are counting the chain 2 as our first half double herringbone stitch, we are just going to skip this one and work into the second one right there. And just repeat what you did for that first row by yarning over, going into that stitch, and pulling up the loop. Just remember, you are not going to finish it like a half double crochet stitch. You are just going to pull through and then yarn over and finish it off by pulling through both of those loops. There we go. And we are just going to repeat this all the way down until we reach the end of our row, and I'll just show you what we do once we get there. So go ahead and finish off this row, and I will meet you there in a little bit. In order to make sure that we are keeping our rows nice and even, I am just going to turn the work over so you can see the last two stitches or the last loop on top of that chain 2 that we did for row 1. And we want to make sure that at the end of the next several rows, we are working into the top of the chain 2. And that just keeps it even. So turning this back around again, I'm just going to yarn over, and I am just going to work into the top of that chain 2. And we are creating our last herringbone half double crochet stitch. So there we go. There's 3 loops. There's 2. And there we go. Just remember that whenever you want to start a new row, you yarn over and chain 2. Then you flip your work, you skip that very first herringbone half double crochet stitch, and then you work into that second one. And that just makes sure that it keeps it nice and even on either side, because we are counting that chain 2 as our first herringbone half double crochet stitch of the round. And that is how you create the smaller herringbone half double crochet stitch.